Hello and welcome to Living a Culture of Life podcast by Human Life International. I'm your host, Colleen Haupt, and I'm joined today with our regional director from Latin America and South America and the Caribbean, that whole area, Mario Rojas. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Colleen. It's really a nice opportunity to be able to somehow send a little message to our friends here in North America, in the United States especially.
Yeah, it's great I've been enjoying all the conversations I've been having with you. So with you and Dr. Lagaya and Father Giordano so far today. So let's just start. How did you first get involved with HLI? How did you first start doing the pro-life work like this?
Well, actually, it's a very, very interesting experience. I thought I was a Catholic, but it was necessary, quote unquote, that my mom passed away for me to really realize what a Catholic really was like. Because when my mom passed away, suddenly I didn't feel like working. And then I realized, even though I lived many years away from home, I realized that missing my mother was very, very strong. So I didn't feel like working, and I told my wife, well, maybe you want to go to make like a short trip vacation or something. And I was lucky enough to find a small sign in the street that said, pilgrimage to the Holy Land. And we wanted to go to the Holy Land before, but there was always something going on. But at this time, we were lucky because when we inquired about this pilgrimage, there were 2 more seats available for the group. Here we go. We wound up going. Probably, if we had gone before, we would not appreciate the same way that appreciated when we were at that time. And it was really something, a very interesting experience to see, how things were happening and to actually verify that what the Bible said, we're talking about real things, It's not just an invention of some people that decided, like science fiction writing type of thing, And it was amazing, to be like, for instance, in Mount Tabor, where the Transfiguration happened. And suddenly, Jesus was here, with Peter and Santiago, that's in Spanish, James, and John. John the Baptist. Not the Baptist, John the Evangelist.
John the Evangelist, yeah.
Then you say, wow, this really happening. It's amazing, And being in the River Jordan, where supposedly that's where Jesus was baptized. And I always heard that it was Jordan River. When you talk about river, you're talking about a large, wide enough, with a lot of water. But when we got into Jordan River, it was a tiny little bit, and I said in diminishing the impact in Spanish in my recording, I say, well, welcome to Rio Jordancito, little Rio Jordan, But it happened, an amazing thing happened to us. My wife was, I was recording, the video recording, and my wife took a picture, and she questioned herself, I wonder where Jesus baptized in the river. And then at that time, 1998, pictures were not like today, that you can actually verify right away, digital pictures and stuff like that. No, we had to return to a place where it could be developed and all that stuff. And when we got that picture returned, there was a big light that came into the area of the river right at that point, and some images there wow, that's where Jesus got baptized.
That's so cool.
Oh yeah, it was an amazing thing. And things like that happened until we wound up getting into a little town called Medjugorje. Never heard before, never heard. And that's where we experienced an incredible journey, and that's when maybe our Blessed Mother wanted us to do something else. And that changed our attitude, our way of life, and many people changed their way of life while visiting Medjugorje. And we came back home and we say, well, what do I need to be Catholic? First of all, start attending Mass and pay attention. and then start reading about it. Start reading and so on, and I became convinced that a real Catholic must defend life from moment of conception to natural life, because the Lord says, "Do not kill life for your brothers like I love you." So from that point on, I became a pro-lifer, and a true Catholic must be a pro-lifer.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to defend, especially the most how do you call innocent, defenseless child that is in the uterus of the mother. And nowadays, before, the uterus of the mother used to be the safest place, but nowadays it's in many cases the most threatening place nowadays, because abortion is on demand in some places. The day after pills are and so on. And at that point, I got involved into the pro-life things, and eventually, through our affiliate in Argentina, at that time I wasn't even aware what HLI was, Human Life International. We invited him to be part of a pro-life conference, and when the guy said, "Wow, this is a place that people thought that we might be able to have maybe 50 people." 800 people show up to our conference, and the guy couldn't believe, "Wow, you want to contact HLI?" And he, referred me to HLI, and this is how I wind up learning about it and then becoming an affiliate in Bolivia at that time.
Okay, so it was Bolivia that you were?
Bolivia,
okay.
Yes. And afterwards, the Lord brought me into the United States, and then we partnered with HLI first as an affiliate in Bolivia, and then starting in 2009 with HLI as a missionary in charge of Latin America.
Yeah, the regional director. Yeah, so what countries do you have affiliate? I know that you have some in the Caribbean, I believe, and South America and Central America. Is that kind of generally?
Basically, the area that I'm in charge, it starts from Mexico.
Okay.
All of Central America, all the different countries of Central America. The Caribbean is mostly the Spanish-speaking Caribbean. We're talking about Dominican Republic, and we're talking about Puerto Rico, okay? They are English. There are a bunch of English islands there, but that we're not really involved. But we might decide, if we agree that it's a good way of doing it, we might decide to do it through our contact, Marlene Gillette, in Puerto Rico, that she speaks good English. And then we're trying to see if we can go into, Haiti with the French-speaking areas as well. South America, it's all of it. All from Venezuela all the way down to Argentina south, or Chile is the southernmost. That includes everything.
Wow.
And of course Brazil, which is the largest country in South America, and Spain.
Oh,
is Spanish-speaking. Spain, yes, we do have a fantastic affiliate there. Spain Matter is the affiliate organization. Maria Jose Mancilla, she's the president. She's a fantastic woman, full of energy and very, very active nowadays, promoting the gospel of life in Spain.
Yeah, I remember a couple stories around the time that I first got here from their pregnancy care center that were beautiful. There was a boy with Down syndrome who was saved, and another boy they were in financial struggling. And so I remember getting some of those stories from Spain as well that were really cool.
Yes. And also, Spain has turned out to be a reception state for many people from Latin America arriving into Spain.
Interesting.
And what happened is, then Maria Jose received some referrals saying, "Oh, my sister in Colombia is about to make a wrong decision," and things like that. So Maria Jose will write to us and say, "Well, do you know anybody in such a place?" And boom, our contact in that country right away, or go through the Crisis Pregnancy Center, the Latin American network that HLI has also helped establish, and it's an affiliate. Our affiliate, the whole network is our affiliate in Latin America. So if, right away we contact them, and then they have somebody who is close by and makes a call, and we have managed to to motivate people and to act in such a way that they will not make that wrong decision.
Oh, that's amazing. I love hearing all the stories of the different children who are saved through the pregnancy care centers as well. Because, I mean, all of the other work that we do is obviously incredibly important. I just think those have some very touching impact because they're so personal.
The thing is, there are, situations of death and life. Mm-hmm. And that's why whenever we talk to, for instance, to a parish, to a priest, head, the pastor of a parish, mm-hmm. and we talk about the difference between a family pastoral mm-hmm. and a life pastoral. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they want to put it all together, the life and family pastoral, that could service the community and stuff like that. And we say, well, the family pastoral is very good, but it's not a matter of life and death. Mm. But the life pastoral is a matter of life and death because somebody might be making a decision mm-hmm. to end the life of a child that is, in the uterus of the mother. And therefore, the people that serve that pastor must be 24/7 available. Mm-hmm. If somebody is to make a decision like that they can be called and say, listen, this is about to happen. What can you do? Boom, right away you try to go and visit and pray or do whatever it's necessary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have fantastic experiences calling. I remember one time the Crisis Pregnancy Center in Colombia, in Bogota, they received a visit of a beautiful girl that was an actress, movie actress or, soap opera actress. They are very popular in Colombia and Mexico as well, Yeah. And she was a good-looking girl. And she wound up going there because most of the crisis pregnancy centers, they publish little articles saying, do you have an unexpected pregnancy or something? Mm-hmm. Visit us.
Yeah.
So sometimes you might interpret one way or another. Okay. So this lady said, maybe they can help me because she felt that, something happened, her period was off or something. Mm-hmm. So she decided to visit with them. So they start talking to this lady to make her, think about it, that a decision, maybe a wrong decision won't be in the right place. But then what happened? She said, are you guys going to help me or not? Then the girl who was in charge of talking with her, she said, well, maybe I can take you to my boss. She can maybe give you a better advice than what I was trying to advise you. Okay, so they walk over. And normally when they are dealing with people in crisis pregnancy centers, in most of our Catholic ones, they have Our Lady of Guadalupe in a small shrine, and there's somebody praying all the time. So what this girl did, she took this lady over to this room, supposedly to talk to the boss of the Christ Pregnancy Center. And who was the boss? Our Lady of Guadalupe. When she entered the room, there was a little girl praying over there, and then she saw Our Lady of Guadalupe, and she changed her mind. Wow. Okay? So Our Lady of Guadalupe can do things like that. But stories like that, you hear them because, we can only do so much, mm-hmm. but it's our mother that really does the heavy work.
That's so true. Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful story. I love Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Oh, yes.
What are some of the challenges that you're being faced with on the mission field in your regions that you're?
Well, you see, challenges are all the time, but the biggest challenge that we feel right now is the misinformation that is circulating. Somehow the media somehow has been, I wouldn't like to say brainwashed, but the other side, they have a lot of resources.
Yeah.
And normally if they want to publish something, like for instance, let's say the Gay Pride parade or something, mm-hmm. then they could invite the news media to a hotel for a good lunch where they can have a nice thing to eat and so on. And then at the end, after they have eaten well, the news media and so on, oh, by the way, maybe if you can publish this article for us, and don't worry about it, we will pay what it costs you. So the newsman has been fed properly and is being given a news report and doesn't really necessarily question about it. So, since they are paying for it, he will publish it.
Interesting.
And then what happened? The people get to read these articles that don't necessarily, are aimed to defend life and family. Of course not. Okay? And therefore, nowadays, the gay pride parades and all that stuff, that seems to be the story. It's we have to be very educated in the sense that, we should not discriminate anybody. Nobody wants to discriminate anybody. But what's happening is that they gripe, the gay parades and stuff like that, it's to show that they have the right to march. Fine. But then they wear, exotic clothes, and they show things that normally you wouldn't see it. And little kids are supposed to be watching it. What kind of message do you pass into it? So that's just one example. So you're talking about information that is being used in the news media that doesn't necessarily, help life and family.
A lot of times it's directly targeting it, too, it seems like, from your example.
Yes. So we cannot go through the news media to try to publish because it costs money.
Yeah.
We don't have those resources. So what we do, we try to, organize maybe a small events where we can have a speaker, like try to explain some of the issues, what's going on, what's happening, and so on. People that participate normally, then they say, wow, we didn't know that. We didn't know this and that. But the news media not necessarily is publishing the right things. So that's a big challenge.
I remember reading the report from Venezuela from your mission there, and one thing that it was a common theme throughout it was people thinking that life didn't begin until 3 months after fertilization. And that was something I thought was interesting. Just like it seemed like a very common theme that different school children didn't know when life began, and they would be pro-life, but they didn't know when life began. And I thought is that another form of misinformation that happens a lot down there? Or
well, this is the talk that people that want to confuse you would like to say. But, if you were to get samples, ADN samples, this of a person that is of a little child.
Yeah.
And compared to the mother's ADN on the blood analysis, you will say that there are two different things, because a child that it's in the womb of the mother it has been formed by 23 chromosomes of the father and 23 of the mother.
Yeah.
Okay, and therefore it will not be the same as the mother. If for some reason you were to make an analysis, you will notice that they are different. So the mother cannot claim, say, it's the right for me to decide my body. But it's not her body anymore. It's another person that is there. It's just temporarily there, okay? And if we were to talk in those terms, there's just no way they can say, no, that's not the case. But then the argument is, after 3 months, well, we don't know what really is, if it's what kind of it's not a person, it's not a human being. It doesn't feel any pain and all that stuff. What do you know? How do you know all those things? It's because it's just pure talk. Because science does not justify that. All right, it's not justified. So it's an issue that we do have information that shows exactly what's the process of growing of the child, from little one and so on. We have panels, we have beautiful traveling museums where normally when we have events, big events, we can show it to them. 17, 18 panels that shows exactly what happens, all that stuff. And people that see that, and they understand, and when they understand, they will not accept this idea that, oh no, you have 3 months to decide whatever you want. That's not really what science says. It's their science, which necessarily is not true science.
Well, and that's the importance of the education programs that we do too, so that people can be able to refute those arguments, because they are common themes.
Yes.
So, yeah. What's been your favorite part of mission work? What do you enjoy doing most?
Well, the nice thing is to really see the simplest people that meeting with you. We're not meeting, rich and famous people who receive us with a Rolls Royce or a Cadillac or anything like that. No. And when we get to a place, we never look for a hotel or anything like that, because that's not an idea. Because number one, we don't have that kind of money for a hotel. Normally, we're invited to stay or in a retreat house or in a seminary. If those two places are not available for some reason, in a family house. Where, the family will, give us a room, have some of the kids move somewhere else in the area and give us the room to be able to share for a couple of days. And our idea is, if we are able to be there, then we kind of evangelize them too, because they understand what is the kind of work, to explain to them, what are we doing, what are we doing, what testimonies we have. And so people really like it. And not only that, since they receive us, we ask them to take us to places where we have to go and give a talk and stuff like that. Sometimes we go to a radio show or a TV show, and they are there, and then suddenly they're learning all those. Wow, we didn't know that. We didn't know that. We didn't know that. And I can change them. All right, I can change it. So it's meeting people, transmitting the love of God. Talking about the gospel of life, that life is so precious, but then also talking about what it means stable families, and what does it mean unstable families, and what do you really want for your kids in the future. Number one, you have to have the Lord in your house as part of your family. And this was a beautiful experience we had when we as HLI did a video in 2012 in Mexico City, in Costa Rica and Panama. And the bottom line, the question was, how do families nowadays defend themselves against the culture of death? It was beautiful. The example, you let the Lord participate in your daily life. Daily life, true. Okay? If you do that, you can't go wrong. It was a beautiful example. Beautiful example. So meeting people, transmitting the truth. Okay?
Yeah. And we do it through relationships. That's so important. Like you were saying, it's a lot of building relationships and transmitting the truth through those. Very much.
Yeah. Like Cristina, this lady from Puerto Viejo, the other day that I show, and during yesterday, this is an example. This lady, together with her husband, participated on a small round table that they were asking us, about anecdotes and things like that. And she was so motivated that they participated in the 2 days that we had for the laity in that Congress. And afterwards, her testimony was incredible, to a point, that she was helping us all the time. What can I do for you? What can I do for you? You guys are doing so much for us. We want to thank you. And my bag, a little bag that I had where I carry all the material of HLI, somehow it was torn. And I had to take this back with me or go to Peru because one of the speakers was from Peru. And I said, well, can we get it fixed? They tried to fix it, couldn't fix the bag. And she came back with one of those portable handbags.
Yeah.
And he gave it to us, and it was a darn good one. I said, how can you do it? No, you take it. You guys have done so much work. For me, it's a privilege to help you on doing things like that. So that makes you feel good. And we're in direct contact all the time, okay? So build up relationships, but build up a relationship with people that love God and want the best for the families.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you for being on the podcast today.
Thank you.
And to all of our listeners, please follow, subscribe, whether you're listening on YouTube, Rumble, or any of our audio platforms, and keep on living the culture of life. God bless.
Amen. God bless.